So the Black St. Paul community members with roots in American slavery spoke out on Tuesday against a reported new hire of who will manage the city's reparations efforts. Over 20 people gathered in the high heat Tuesday morning for a press conference outside of the St. Paul City Hall. It said to express frustration that the unidentified hire, it said, is not an American descendant of chattel slavery. They said this is totally disrespect. They say to the black community. It said a Tyrone Terrell, president of the African American Leadership Council. It say and former director of the St. Paul Department of Human Rights. They say we stand before you to say that our lived experience in our lives and the spirits of our ancestors matter, and no one can speak for us. Said Irina Moran, they say a Ramsey County commissioner and St. Paul resident. She was joined by fellow commissioners Mai Chong Zong and Victoria Reinhardt. It said a city council spokesperson was not available to confirm the hire of the person's race or ethnicity, but mental health counselor Jeremy English serves on the city's reparations commission. It said he was recently introduced to the new hire. He said he declined to share the person's identity beyond non-black. It said, and I quote, it said, it's not about the person. According to a Black Lives Matter Minnesota founder, Trey Hearn Cruz, he said, we need someone who has lived experience, knowledge of reparations, and knowledge of the racial wealth gap and how it impacts the descendants of slaves, he said, who reside in the state of Minnesota. Now, the position exists as part of the city's commitment in recent years to make reparations, it said, to black people a reality. They say in 2021, the resolution, they say the St. Paul City Council apologized for its participation in institutional racism, including the bondage of slaves at Fort Snelling. They say and the destruction of thriving black communities. They say with the construction, they say of the I-94, they say through the Rondo neighborhood. They say the resolution laid the groundwork, they say, for the establishment of the St. Paul Recovery Act Community Reparations Commission earlier this year to advise City Council and the mayor on addressing the resulting racial disparities across all measures of home ownership, health care, education, employment, criminal justice, etc., for American descendants of chattel slavery. The St. Paul City Council elected 11 people from the applicant pool to serve on the commission in June. It then also opened applications for a senior policy analyst to manage the commission part-time. It's an analyst, other responsibilities include serving as the city's liaison, with district councils, according to the job listing. The job application, was open for 3 weeks, according to the listing. The annual pay, for the roles range from $81,000 to $110,000. That's some good money for a commission. Chantel Allen, the activist of Black Lives Matter Twin Cities and St. Paul Public Schools board member, helped lead the press conference. Speaking for the group. She said that the city should revisit their applicant pool and prioritize American descendants of chattel slavery or repost the application until a suitable candidate is found. She also argued the jobs should be separated from other city, coordinated work. They say we're talking about 404 years of oppression that needs to be addressed. They say we deserve a full-time staff, according to what they said. So I agree with them 100%. It needs to be a person of our lineage. It don't need to be other groups. Other groups, when they have things going on, you don't see them putting us on their commissions or anything related to these other groups. They don't do that. So they shouldn't be doing that to us. So I agree with them. Find you a black American, even if you have to fly a black American in to do so. You understand what I'm saying? Or find some, it's so many black Americans in this country will gladly serve there. And I'm talking about a black American who's really about the people. I'm not talking about some bootlick. I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying? But how dare they? Now I heard the rumor was the person was Asian, but they said non-black, that's all we need. Don't matter if they're Asian or whatever. But let me know what y'all think about this. Like I said, that's very disrespectful. Put a black American on there of our lineage, a descendant of slaves. That's the only kind of people that need to be on that commission.